Hi everyone, welcome back to my Excel Power Query series. If you are new here, make sure to check out my first video where we explored the basics of Power Query and how it can help you to automate your routine calculations. In today's video, we are taking our Power Query skills to the next level. We will learn how to combine data from different tables. And for this reason, we will use two powerful functions, Merge and Append. The first function I want to show you is Append. Append function allows us to combine data from multiple sources vertically. It's particularly useful when dealing with data that shares a similar structure, such as monthly sales reports or customer data from different regions. We can simply append the data together to create a unified data set for further analysis. Now let's explore Append function in practice. In my Power Query view, I have two tables, sales for the first month and sales for the second. These two tables have similar structure, and I want to combine them into one table. There are two options how to do it in Power Query. The first option is just to append the second table to the table that already exists. So, here is a copy of the table for the first month. And now I want to append the table for the second month to this table. For this, I click button Append Queries. And now I need to choose which table I want to append. So I choose Sales for the second month, click OK, and here it is. So now we have Append Existing Query. The second option is to create a new query, new table. In order to do it, I click New Query, Combine, Append Queries as New. And now I need to select which queries I want to combine. So I choose Sales for the first month as a primary table and for the second month as a table to append. And here it is. Now we have New Query. It's also possible to combine more than two tables in Power Query. For example, I have added three more tables for March, April, and May. In March, we have similar headings, but the order of columns is different. Like in January and February, we have sales on the second place and month on the third. But in March, we have month on the second place and sales on the third. Let's see what happens when we combine these tables together. So I go back to the combine tables and to the first step. And now I'm going to select three or more tables and select March. And it works perfectly, which means that the order of the columns is not important. Now let's append one more table for April. However, in this table, the column for sales is named amount of sales instead of just sales, like in other tables. So let's try to add this table. You see, Power Query did not understand that these columns are the same and it could not combine them. As I mentioned before, in order to append tables together, these tables should have a similar structure, which means the column headings should be the same. So let's try to rename this column and see what happens. And now it works. And finally, I have the table for May. This table has one additional column called region. And I'm going to append this table as well. When I append this table to the others, Power Query creates a new column with no values in the months where this region column doesn't exist. But additional columns are not a stopper to append queries. They will simply not be filled where this data is not available. Let's move on to the merge function. Imagine having data scattered across different files or sheets. In my example, we have two tables, sales and managers. The goal is to combine these tables into one and see the name of manager, the amount of sales, and the region where this manager works, all in a single table. With the merge function, we can bring together later data by combining key columns. The key column is the column that is the same in both tables. In my example, the key column is manager. I want to show you two examples of how to use merge function in practice. Let's start with easy example and then we'll move on to the more complicated one. So, we have two tables, sales and managers. How to merge these two tables in Power Query? Just simply click Merge button. Merge operation requires two tables, left table to merge and right table to merge. So I choose Managers as right table to merge. Now we need to choose key columns. We already discussed that in our example, key column is Manager. So I just click on this column in each table. And finally, we need to specify join kind. I usually use left outer, which means all information from the first table and matching information from the second. Let's have a look at join kind in more details. There are 6 join kinds in Power Query. Use left outer join if you want to keep all the information from the left table and only matching rows from the right table. Use right outer join if you want to use all the information from the right table and only matching rows from the left table. Use full outer join if you want to keep all the data from both tables and combine them, including any non-matching rows. Use left anti-join if you want to identify the records in the left table that are not present in the right table. Use right anti-join if you want to identify records in the right table that are not present in the left table. And finally, use inner join if you want to combine data where you have matching records in both tables. So let's return to Power Query view. We performed merge function and what do we see? There is a new column with table inside. But what does it mean? Power Query didn't automatically show all columns from the second table. It allows you to choose by yourself what columns you want to show. So, as a next step, you need to expand columns, like clicking on this button, and filter needed columns. I don't need column manager because these columns already exist in my table, so I select column region and click OK. That is it, we merged two tables. But in real life, you often encounter situations where everything is more complicated than just merging two tables by key columns. Let's take an example to illustrate this. We have a table called Account Transactions containing amounts of sales with dates, product types, and transaction details. I need to get information about sales, but with product names. However, we don't have such column in this table. Fortunately, we have another table called List of Products containing product codes, types, and their corresponding product names. Now, can we simply merge these two queries? Each table has the same column called product type. Let's try to choose it as a key column. And now I need to expand product name. Ooh, what happens? We had 5 rows, and now we have 13. Each row was duplicated. Let's have a closer look at our tables. In the table list of products, there are three types of furniture with different product names. And Power Query does not know which of these names to choose as a correct match. We haven't specified it, and that's why the query repeated each row 3 times. When using the merge function in Power Query, it's important to ensure that your key column is unique. If you don't have a unique column, you can still use multiple columns to create a unique combination. By combining two or more columns, you can form a composite key that ensures a unique match between the tables. For example, in our scenario, both tables have a product code column, which is not unique by itself. But by combining the product code and product type columns, we can create a unique composite key that allows us to accurately match the data. So, we just need to choose a second key column. But can't we do it at this moment? No, because these columns are not the same. Therefore, before we can use the merge function, we need to extract the product codes from the transaction details column. To achieve this, we could go one step back in our query using the Applied Steps pane and use the split column function to separate the product codes. This function is quite common in practice, and I'll cover it in more details in the next videos. So I select Transaction Details column and click Split column by delimiter. Power Query says, "Are you sure you want to insert a new step?" Yes. And now we need to select a delimiter. I select space and click OK. And now we have the required key column to proceed with the merge. So I go back to Merge Queries tab. And now I need to select the second key column, Product Code. To perform multiple key columns, I press Ctrl button on my keyboard to select the second column in each table. Pay attention to the order in which the columns were selected. It's displayed in small numbers next to the column headings. Orders in both tables should be the same. This is because Power Query doesn't pay attention to the names of columns when performing a merge. In our example, the column names are different between these two tables. I didn't rename transaction details to the product code. And these small numbers indicate the columns to be matched. So we selected key columns and can press OK. And now we have sales information containing product names. I just want to delete columns that I don't need. And we can use this information for further analysis. So, in today's video, we have covered the merge and append functions in Excel Power Query. I hope you found this video informative and helpful. Thank you for watching and see you in the next videos.